I just need to say that vaccine passports literally are a social credit system of the type they have in China. And Naomi Wolf goes over this. She's very familiar with the situation. But how is it not a social credit system when it's rewarding you for a socially desirable behavior, such as getting a vaccination, with things that you want, like going to concerts or going to big events? So just as lockdowns, 15 days of lockdown to slow the spread was not the final incarnation, it was just the appetizer. In that same manner, vaccine passports being pushed right now are not being shown in their final form. They are just being shown in the form of the appetizer, which is trying to make them palatable to us. What's to keep them from adding more carrots or incentives to the vaccine passports to make them even harder for people to refuse? What if it's tied to universal basic income? What if you have to have a vaccine passport to use a bank? I mean, clearly they're aiming to have it so you need to use it for airplane travel. What if you need a vaccine passport to stay at an Airbnb or a hotel and you really can't stay anywhere besides your own home without being green on the pass? What if you need it to get a job, any job, even a remote job? You know, it could become extremely coercive if it basically controls your ability to live and or even to access food. What if you start needing it even to order food for delivery purposes? And then on the other side, what's to keep them, if once they have this system in place, from changing the requirements for what it takes to have, you know, a green light to access things? If it starts with needing a single round of COVID vaccinations, well, the covi-pass and other vaccine passes are clearly designed to expire after your vaccine, you know, when you need a booster shot. And so if you've already gotten your shot and you're like, oh well, why don't I sign up for this pass and get to go some places? Are you sure that you want to be on the hook for getting every booster shot forevermore, no matter how much they cost, no matter how much they make you sick, or no matter the types of side effects people start to notice from them, or if you decide that it's no longer worth the risk for you if COVID is gone, but you're still required to get a COVID booster shot every 6 months or every year? What's to keep them from adding other requirements in order to be green on the pass? Like down the road, what about climate requirements? What if they require you not to eat very much meat, not to go very far from your house? To get very sinister, what if they require you to take injectable birth control to reduce climate change, you know, from overpopulation? What if they require you to get sterilized after having 2 children? What if, you know, who knows, like, what it could be used for? So, and then furthermore, what's to keep them from arbitrarily restricting people's access? Like, typically these days, big tech will cancel you with no warning, but all you lose is a platform. All you lose is your Twitter or Facebook account. What if you could lose your access to jobs, to money, food, places to stay, travel, you know? Even if you don't think that the government or state governments rolling these out intend any of those things, just the fact of having an app that ties, you know, incentivizes behavior in order to have access to privileges is extraordinarily dangerous, and we shouldn't stand for it. Right now, in order for the government to curtail your right to travel, like to fly and stuff like that, or to curtail your ability to, say, stay in hotels or go to restaurants or large events, it would take a lot of effort. It would take putting you on a no-fly list, and it would take maybe finding you guilty of a crime and imprisoning you. You'd have to go through a trial and all of that. Whereas if there's an app that restricts your access to these things, all it takes is a click. All it takes is changing an entry in a database. And who knows who could do that? Who would be administering these passports? Who would be in charge of making the rules for what it takes to have a green light on them? Would those people change? Are those people elected? Do we even know who those people are? Would there be any rules about who could fulfill that role? What about hackers? What if hackers found a way to basically hold your access, you know, ransom to you? You would get contacted by a hacker saying, I've changed your pass access to red. You must pay me $10,000 in order for it to be green again. I mean, the government's really not great at doing anything and not great at internet security, and I think that would be a big risk, and there'd also be the risk of hackers, well, of bad actors selling green lights on these passports, like selling fake credentials, fake vaccination credentials, which is already happening on the dark web, just giving money to illegal activities, to be having that out there. So at the end of the day, I just think that this is an extraordinarily dangerous thing, and nobody should want this. It could be turned against any of us. You never know where it could go, and we just need to say no way. They've been planning this for years. They've been working on these passports for years, even before COVID. It's something they've been trying to attain. It's sort of the cherry on top. I believe personally that it was their goal all along to lock us down long enough till the vaccine became available, and then not to let us out unless we accept these vaccine passports. But that's just my belief from things that I've watched about Bill Gates, the Corbett report, and just watching the news for years, watching Event 201, etc. Maybe I'm wrong, but even if I am wrong, I think it's really naive. It's like the person in a horror movie who says, "Oh, why don't we go in this awful abandoned building? How about we just go and check it out?" It's like, no, like sometimes there's just scary things that you do not want to experience. I do not want to experience, neither should you, living under the threat of having your access to potentially to critical things turned off